How you're thinking, exactly. And this is where we stopped, right? So, just to move on today from this, we're going to talk about the standards of critical thinking, okay? Uh, and please, if you don't understand something, please jump in and let me know, okay? So, basically, what it means, the standards for critical thinking is that it needs to be clear, it needs to be accurate, it needs to be precise, needs to be relevant, logical, fair, broad, and deep. Okay. Don't worry too much about this right now because we will talk about this in more detail. Okay. So, what do we mean by clarity? Guys, and I need you to kind of get active here with me, okay? So, what do you think is meant by clarity? Am I being clear right now? Okay. Let's say I was to tell you about the neurons in your brain fire every time you repeat the action. Was I clear? You understood what I said. Okay, the neurons in your brain fire every time you repeat the action or a behavior. And by firing, neurons produce myelin, which is a chemical that wraps around the neuron. And the more myelin you have, the better you get at that task and the faster you can perform it. So the more malleable your neurons are, the faster you perform the task, and uh, the less time it takes for the circuit to complete its way, its distance of firing. Okay, was I clear? Okay, I'm trying not to be clear, and it's like I'm clear all the time. Oh, okay. Um, okay, I'm gonna try to confuse you now. Um, I went to the shop yesterday. I went by car and then I took a bus and then I took a taxi. I couldn't park anywhere. I went inside the store and there was nothing in, so I got out and I went into the parking and I couldn't find my car. And then I went inside the store. I bought stuff. I left. I took a bus and got home. Any questions? Aha, what happened to the car? Number one. What other questions do you have? Any other questions? So all you want to know is what happened to the car. Why so many means of transportation? Exactly. Okay. So I just gave you a complete illogical, unclear story of how I went to the a mall, shopping mall. Then I went to the store and there was nothing. I went to the parking. Then I entered again and I bought stuff. How could I have bought stuff if the first time I went in, there was nothing? Okay. So I wasn't completely clear. So, you as a listener, you as a processor of exactly, you as a processor of information that I am giving you, you cannot formulate a logical explanation of my actions, right? So you need clarity, which you didn't get from me. Okay. So that's what I mean. Every time you have questions about the information that you're hearing, every time something doesn't click, so something doesn't make sense, it means that it lacks clarity. Okay, it means that it is not clear and you need you need more information. Okay, understood. Mhm. The second one is accuracy. That's a tricky one. That's the one that people have trouble with the most. Okay, because accuracy is actually for me, I have the most trouble with this one personally because um, so many things are accurate to ones and not accurate to others. Yeah, it's all about what kind of information you possess and what kind of information you choose to believe. Okay, this is very important because it is kind of the pillar of your thinking process, okay, your belief system. um what is it that you perceive to be the truth, yeah, based on your personal experiences and based on your personal beliefs. So this is a very 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 difficult um uh standard, in my opinion. And it's also, you can argue about it a lot, yeah? But just, to make it super, super simple, yeah? Um, let's say you saw, and it is especially today very, very important because of, the information on the internet, okay? Because the internet today, the information on the net, on social media, on it's not it's not information anymore. Yeah, I would say that it has become a dumpster. Okay, so it is extremely important for us to know exactly how to filter the information that we're seeing. Okay, what to believe and what not to believe, what to pay more attention to, and what to ignore. And I would love to hear your thoughts about this right now, if possible. Any thoughts, any ideas?
Пойдем, мне нужна никакая. О, одну минуту.
No, I can't.
Одну минуту.
Guys, can you Can you tell me your thoughts about the information that you're seeing and how to filter it? In just a second, I'll be back. No, nothing? You don't have any ideas? Are you guys both online? Okay, Solomon, do you have any ideas? I mean, about the information? The information. You don't have to see the screen. What is your opinion about the information today? No, not about the story I explained. Okay, I forget about it. So what I'm trying to say is that can you guys hear me well? Okay. What I'm trying to say here is that accuracy is the most, I think, is very controversial because what is accurate to me may not be accurate to you. Okay. And what I was saying is that it is extremely important today, the concept of accuracy and accurate information, because we're so overwhelmed with with information on internet, on social media, and everybody has access to internet, everybody can post, everybody can write. There is a very, very little filter to what is out there. So you know uh, people are more sensitive to that than ever before. So the way I view internet and information on it is that it's not a source of information. It's more like a dumpster. Yeah, it's a dumpster that you have to really, really thoroughly check through before you can get anything that is accurate. Okay. So for me right now, what I do is that I have developed a system. If I need to find out something, I have my reliable sources, which are maybe a little bit more time consuming than just, reading a heading or going to a forum, which, is very fast, but it's not accurate most of the time. 99% of the time, it's just, somebody's opinion or thoughts. It doesn't have factual support. So what I do is I actually read research papers of scientists. Yeah, that's my source of information. But many people have different approaches, and what um, works for them. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that my information is right or their information is right. Okay. So, how to distinguish that? Is that really true? How can you say, for example, if you see a picture on the internet of a huge, absolutely ginormous chicken, and on the heading it says, for the first time in history, a gigantic chicken was born in the state of Texas. The farmer is over the moon with excitement. The scientists are looking into it. It's a miracle. What is going to be your reaction? It could be a lie, okay, Solomon, but it could be the truth. Do you think it could be? Picture could be edited, yes, or photoshopped, yes. But how do you base your opinion that it could be a lie? On what? And it could be a legit story. Okay, fine. How can it be? Now, give me the thinking process. How do you distinguish? Because if you think it's a lie, it's because it's new. Okay? Something that hasn't happened in a long time. In a long time, okay, fine. In a long time. I have a problem with that statement, but anyway, continue. Mm-hmm. Anything else? Okay, but what if it's true? What do you think that if it's true, then what? How can it be true? Now, we've established that it could be a lie because, it hasn't happened before. It's photoshopped and it's edited. How can we know, how can we say that it's true? Maybe scientists. No, but it says that it was born on a farm, in Texan farm. Salmon, it says that it was created, it wasn't created, it was born on a Texan farm. Anything else? Okay. Um, I don't see any more people trying to give the okay. Okay, no, nothing else. Okay. So number one, it says that it was born on a Texan farm, this huge ginormous chicken. Yeah? So, in order for a huge ginormous chicken to have been born, what would have had to happen? A chicken, a hen, would have had to lay a ginormous egg, right? Because we all know that chickens are born from eggs. Yeah? Would it physically be possible for a hen to lay a ginormous egg? Physiologically, would it be possible for a hen to lay a ginormous egg? Would it? Yes, please. Ask a question. Yes, you see this thing on Facebook, and it says that the chicken was born on a Texan farm. A ginormous chicken was born on a Texan farm. And you see the picture of this huge, absolutely gigantic chicken. Texan farm means a farm in Texas. Okay? Anything else, Solomon? So now answer my question. Is it physiologically possible for a hen to lay a ginormous egg? The hen has to be big to do that. Yeah? Like really big. Yeah? And there is no explanation on the hen. So if it was sensational news, they would have probably, we would have already known about this huge, absolutely gigantic hen that was born from somewhere. Yeah? Or maybe it was created biologically in the laboratory somewhere. But we don't have that information. Nobody's giving us that information. Okay? So before we believe it, yeah, we check, is that really true? For it to be true, it needs to follow some kind of criteria that we have, that we are trying to lay out here. Yeah. So for us right now, for it to be true is not really possible. Yeah. And how can we check it? If we're really interested, we can maybe write to the person who published it, ask some more questions like, can you show us a picture of a hen? How big is the hen? How big was the egg? Or something like that. Yeah. So that's what we do if we want to invest our time in this. Yeah. Obviously, if it's really important for us to find out if it's true or not. But from the information that is being provided, it is most likely that it's a lie. Okay? Because if it was an explanation, accurate information, then they would have mentioned that the mother is huge, for example, or the mother was created in a lab under certain circumstances and came out to be absolutely huge and is able to reproduce, and she laid an egg which was absolutely ginormous, and a ginormous chicken came to life. Yeah, so that could be a beginning of a new species of chicken, something like that. But since the source failed to mention all of those facts, then we assume that the information is false. Okay, and the information is false, and that the publisher is doing this for other means, okay, to attract attention to his page or to get more viewers, or there's there's different reasons, basically. Yeah. Okay. Precision. How precise is the information? Just a second.
Там я не могу брать. На столе.
Хочешь посидеть со мной чуть-чуть здесь?
Тут разорвется, когда
Иди ко мне.
приедем.
Sorry, this is my son, and he wants to sit here for a while. He will not bother us. Okay. Okay.
Что такое? Well,
Well,
да.
so
Well, что такое? Что такое well?
no, not only
Mama,
Russian. He speaks English.
Мама,
Speak English, okay? Only English.
мама,
Only English.
мам.
Yes,
По-русски.
only English.
Only Russian.
No, only English.
Only Russian.
No, okay, then go and play it in your room, okay?
Мама. Мама.
What?
А?
Say
Мама.
it. Мне никогда. Никогда.
Мама, как ты их слышишь?
Вот они здесь пишут. Okay, so what do we mean by precision? How precise is the information that is given to us? And the same with accuracy. Precision is also very tricky because to give you an example, yeah, this guy Yao Ming is tall. When you say that Yao Ming is tall, now that can be true, yeah, if you compare him to the universally tall standard, okay? But for example, what is, because we all know that Chinese people are not very tall. Yeah, the Chinese population is average sized. Yeah. So what is tall in China is average everywhere else. Yeah, in the majority parts of the world. Yeah. It is also a known fact that people in Netherlands are quite tall. Yeah. So when you say that, when Dutch people say that somebody is tall, it means that the person is extremely tall. Yeah, because their perception of size is very different. Yeah. In China and in Netherlands, tall means completely different things. Do you understand, guys? So when you get information, you also need to be sure that it's very precise. Okay. She's saying he's tall. How is he tall? Where is he tall? Where is she from? How, these kind of questions you need to consider. Yeah? So always ask questions. Now we move on to the relevance. And so the example that I have here on my slides is I studied hard all semester, therefore I should get an A plus. Is this information relevant? A statement is very clear and it has a lot of information in it. Yeah, I studied hard all semester, therefore I should get an A plus. Is it relevant though? Think about it. I'll be back. Okay, guys. Is the information relevant? Just because I studied hard all semester, should I get an A? If I study hard all semester, does it automatically mean that I have to get an A? I should get an A? No. Why not? Starting hard doesn't have, okay. Um, any other thoughts? Why may you not get an A, for example? What could be the things that can go wrong? You studied hard all semester. What does this information tell us? You might miss it. Yes. What else? You might miss it, and studying hard doesn't necessarily mean that you have covered absolutely everything that the teacher is going to ask. Yeah? Studying hard doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to um, be able to write well. You may know all the information, but you may have trouble expressing it on the actual exam. You might get extremely nervous. Yeah. You may feel very confident because you studied, you are very confident with knowledge of the information, but many things can go wrong. Okay. It doesn't necessarily guarantee you an A plus. Yeah, but it does guarantee you having that information, okay? Having that knowledge, because that is what you are studying for. That is the purpose of your studies. Yeah? Not to get a grade, but to have the knowledge. What do we mean by depth? Any ideas? So let's take an example of the chicken. Um, we've established that it could be a lie. Yeah, we've established that it could also be a true. But the depth in which we went in order to answer those questions is the depth of critical thinking. Okay? Establishing, asking questions. How deep are you willing to go into the question, basically? Yeah? Can someone give me an example? Exactly. It's more like an explanation. And how many explanations do you need in order to get to the logic of it? Okay, let's get the most recent one. I know you're all following the news on coronavirus. And I know that, yeah, all of you are, right? Solomon, Sanat, both of you are following. Mm-hmm. So, what about World Health Organization? Do you have the news on that? What they're saying? What their latest statements are? Okay. So you know how they change opinions all the time. First, they say that wear a mask, then they say don't wear masks. First, they say that it spreads from person to person. Then they say that it doesn't. Then they say that symptomatic people spread the disease and asymptomatic people don't spread the disease. Then they change it, then they change it again. So it's like they're changing their narrative like constantly. Okay. One day they say one thing, the second day they say another thing. And it's been with us for like 6 months already, and nobody knows anything. Still, nobody knows anything about the virus, okay? How it spreads, what it does. First, they tell us to wear masks. Then they tell us that we don't need to wear masks. Now they tell us again that we have to wear masks. So it's like absolutely chaos. Yeah, we have no idea what to do, okay? And so their information, their narratives, their statements, they lack absolutely everything, okay, in critical thinking. They lack depth, they lack relevance, they lack precision, they lack accuracy, they lack clarity, okay? Because it absolutely cannot be that one day you say something and then the next day you completely oppose it. Yeah. And then the third time you go back to your previous statement. And then the fourth time you oppose it again. What's happening? In this case, what is happening? So, why does it lack depth? Why do their statements lack depth? Because they're not taking in account their previous statements, okay? Because they're not taking in account what they have said before. Um, they're not taking in account the complexities of the question. Okay, so it absolutely lacks the depth. When you say something, you need to be very clear and you have to be deep in your statement. Okay, it needs to answer multiple things. When you say something, the less questions people have about your statements, the more logical and critical your statement is. Okay. The breadth is basically the same as depth, yeah? It's just going into another dimension. And it's basically a lack of perspective. The way I like to consider breadth is the lack of perspective. Yeah. So we judge things and we consider things without considering the perspective. Yeah. So just because you came in late, yeah, I can't assume that you are a bad student because there are millions of things that could have happened, yeah, to you. Just because you didn't participate in class discussion doesn't mean that you're lazy. It could be a number of reasons for that, okay? Just because you didn't hand in your homework on time doesn't necessarily mean that you're an irresponsible person. It means that, you know, there could have been many, many things happening to you that day, and you simply couldn't, yeah? So lack of perspective, you know, lack of being able to look at things from a different point of view, consider different possibilities and outcomes. Yeah, that's your breadth. And we come to logic next, and you know, logic. Logic is the best. Yeah. um, Does it make sense? Okay. Can people fly? Can superheroes exist? Do they exist? Is it logical? Is the chicken that was gigantic logical? It could be, you know, if it was like this, like this, like this, and like this. Okay? But the illogical thing would be just because you see it on the internet, on the picture, to immediately presume that it is true. Any questions? Okay, and we will finish with fairness. We need to be impartial. We need to be good, and we need to be free of preconceptions and bias. Okay. If you're not, you can't be fair and you can't be a good critical thinker. Okay. If you have biases, if you have prejudices, if you're not impartial, if you're not open-minded about things and ideas, then there's no way that you can be a good critical thinker. Okay. Because you can't judge otherwise. Do any of you guys have preconceptions? No. Okay, I think that this is kind of self-explanatory. Do you have any questions? Because now I would like to give you a homework. Okay, for next week, let me see my calendar. Um, okay. So next week, 17th, I think that's okay. Uh, wait. Let's make it 24th. Yeah? I'll give you 2 weeks to do it. So by 24th, please write me um, 500 to 700 words. Can you hear me? I'll write an email explaining. But what I want you to do, and this is something that you have to think about, okay? I want you to write me an essay about your ideas and your thoughts about how do I know that I know. So basically, how do you know that you know something? Yeah, you can take it any direction that you want, but it absolutely has to be your thinking and your ideas. Okay? Now, I am not interested in history of knowledge because, trust me, I have enough information on that. The only thing I am interested is how you reason and how your thought, the way this is because guys, this interaction is very bad. Yeah. I don't know you. I don't see you. I don't hear you. And we have extremely little communication with each other. Okay. So I want this essay. I would like to get to know you through this essay. I would like to find out your thinking process. Yeah. So don't view it as an assignment per se. Okay. Don't be alarmed that I'm going to give you this like terrible grade. But just like whenever, that's why I'm giving you 2 weeks. Okay. Whenever you're in the mood, just sit down and write your opinion only about how do you know that you know. Okay, guys? Sanat, are we clear? Okay, Sanat is having problems probably with connection. Okay, guys, so that's it, I think. Okay, why are you confused, Sanat? What is confusing you? What is confusing you, Sanat? Mm-hmm. How do you know that you know? Think about it and write it. All you need to do is think about it and write. Write what you think. Write what questions you have when you think about this. Write what comes to your mind, any stories that you might have read concerning this. Just absolutely anything, just your thinking process. I need to be able to see that. Okay?